Alrighty, so it is, I think, Wednesday, and it's time for steaks. It's not just for breakfast anymore. I got the grill fired up. I've already chopped up the potatoes, onions, green peppers for my vegetable dish, and now I'm going to be getting the steak spiced up for it while we're waiting for the grill to get hot. So there's the potato dish already, getting ready to go. And now to wash the steaks and spice them with salt and pepper. And then we'll be ready to grill. Alright, so we got the steaks all seasoned. So what I'll do is I'll now carry out the potatoes and get them on the grill. Get them really started while the coals are still getting hot. So we're waiting for the coals to get to the cooking temperature. But it's easily good to put the potatoes right there next to it. Start cooking on process quickly. Got about 10 minutes before those coals will be at perfect cooking temperature for the steaks. And that'll be good eating. Meanwhile, it's kind of hazy out today. We're hoping for some rain and change of direction. There's the big old oak tree. There's the pond and the garden. Alright, so that's how we want the coals. Ready to roll. Got the steaks. Now it is a little windy, so I'll probably have to be covering this. Just because the wind will get the coals far too hot. I want to sear them, but then again, I don't want to sit there and burn them to a crisp. So I'm going to cover them for about 3 to 4 minutes, flip them, rinse, repeat, and then we'll move them over to the resting side of the grill, and then we will put the potatoes right over to heat. The idea is try to get the airflow slowed down a bit, but not to sit there and put the coals out. And this is where you get that smoked flavor. And this is really where a charcoal grill, in my opinion, has the advantage over a gas grill. Where your gas grill is natural gas or LP. It's easier to light, easier to heat up and things like that. I still believe in the charcoal. That's why I have numerous of them. Got the 2 main ones, and I've got 3 smaller ones behind the shed. Sometimes when we have some very large parties over here, I may have 3 grills going on at the same time. So we're going to give that a couple more minutes, get that nice sear, and then we'll flip them over. Okay, so now I'm going to give them the first flip. So that's what I want. I want that nice charcoal marks on them. Just the way I want them to come out. And then the spatula, I got 2 of these heavy duty ones at a garage sale for $1 each. That was a deal. So we got them flipped. Now let's cover them again. The same thing. 3 to 4 minutes on that side, and then we'll switch them around. And I was eating good in the neighborhood. Alright, so now I'm getting ready to switch things over. So I got it seared on both sides. What I'm going to do is this is going to get moved over to the hot area. First I kind of set these off to the side. Get the little hot things here. Now it's on a direct heat. Flip it because I want to make sure I got the marks I wanted, which I did. So this is going to be on a much more direct heat here. There we go. And this is on the resting area. And now I'll go and get some butter to throw on top of it and really lock in some flavor. The next thing I do is, now I got the steaks resting, because I'm going to throw some tabs of butter on top. And this is going to really add some flavor to the steak. There we go. When I flip it, I'll get it on the other side too. So this is going to be a very healthy and hearty breakfast. And we had this Monday, and it was really good. I had bought 4 steaks at the same time. So you got to make sure you get them cooked, because I don't want to freeze them. You know, when you freeze steaks and then you thaw them out, they'll lose some of their flavor. In my opinion, I like to sit there and cook the steaks right from the cow, let's put it that way. I got that rolling. Give it a few minutes and see how it comes out. Alrighty. Let's see how everything's coming along. Oh yeah. So let's give the flip. And some more butter. So this is Kerrygold pure Irish butter, and you can tell it's a better butter because it softens faster than what I'm used to. So what I mean is it melts more rapidly. Than your lesser butter, so definitely it's something that's got a little more flavor. I think it's pure, so it doesn't have all these added stuff that you don't need on there. And just letting some of the air get back into the charcoal to kind of bring the heat up again. Oh, plenty of heat there. And if I do want to get some more heat, I can just increase the airflow. So that's all the butter I need, so let's put this back in the fridge before it melts on me. And about another 10 minutes, and we'll probably be good to eat. Alrighty, so been letting it kind of sit and cook for about 15 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to kind of see how thick the steak is, and that kind of gives me an idea of how well it cooked. And I also want to kind of see how much heat is coming out. There's still plenty of heat, so I know I'm getting a good cook there. And I'm going to say these are done. So what I'll do is I'll pull the steaks off, let them rest, keep that on for a few more minutes, because the potatoes and that might take a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm going to say this is done. So, oh yeah. So remember how thick the steaks were initially. So these are going to be so good. And I'll come back for this here in a few minutes. Alright, so now while we're letting the steaks rest and the potatoes finish up, I'm going to take a walk to the garden and then to the pond. I'm going to be putting these out as premieres at 9 p.m. Central Time, and I'm going to try to do them like on a Monday, Wednesday, so there's some sort of consistency, and then maybe I'll get more views. And also I'll try to make sure I title it the first time, So the first premiere I did on Monday, I didn't even put a title on there until like the next day. I'm like, oh yeah, title would have helped. These are the onions that seem to be doing really well. I haven't dug any up. I think I'm gonna wait towards the fall before I do, except maybe for the two that have fallen over, so I might dig them up just to see what they look like. Same thing with the carrots here. I'm thinking with all that on top, they might be getting pretty big. Neighbor's been giving me a lot of mulch, which I can really tell it's improving the soil. The soil's softer, and I think next year this will really help. Hopefully the rain will work out a little bit better. There's the cilantro that came up all on its own, and it's going to seed, which I'm going to let it go to seed. And pretty much this is probably going to be my cilantro patch. All right, same thing, we got the tomatoes. So remember I was telling you about tomatoes, we don't want things growing from the bottom. The whole idea is we want the plant to really be producing tomatoes, not leaves. So every now and then you gotta kind of check it, and anywhere where you think, okay, it's getting a little too thick, you gotta trim those out. So far they're doing really well. Now these I planted from seed, so I'm really happy with it. And then I've planted some lettuce amongst it as kind of a cover crop more than anything else. Now you are going to get some weeds growing, and you just kind of go in there every now and then and pull them. But pretty soon I'll be getting lettuce here. I'll harvest the lettuce, and then when it gets so big I'll just pull them up and add soil and compost, and that's when the plants will be getting extremely large. So it's kind of a daily thing. Here are the peppers that I planted from seed. Same thing. As I put lettuce and some celery and some other things amongst it as kind of a cover crop. I do know what the weeds look like though. That's a weed. It's a weed, but it's actually an edible weed. We call it pigweed or wild spinach. That one I'm going to keep there. I'm not quite sure what that is yet. And then we have our peppers and potatoes. And I'm really starting to get a lot of jalapenos. So probably I'll be making a run to the Lamex and giving out some jalapenos. They do like those. And I'm still trying to grow. And here I'm just going to do some research and see why they're browning. I don't think it's from lack of water. It might be from just too much water. Now we'll head out to the pew range that we had built, and then the pond. And this, like I said, will be my premiere for this evening. Hope everybody joins in the chat. And the best thing you can do in chat is actually make comments and ask questions and really kind of get the whole process going. I've got a monarch butterfly out there ahead of me. So they've made their way here from South America. So we moved about half of this hill and about a quarter of that hill over there, and we made a new range. And then in a couple weeks we may come back out and add to it again. I'll have to see what everybody's schedule's like. It is a major operation, to say the least. Now let's see if we can sneak up to the pond and maybe catch the turtle. So there's a log. I don't see him out there. It's not sunny though. So sometimes when it's not sunny, they kind of stay close to shore. Of course, I got a whole bunch of bugs biting me. So you can tell there's a lot of life on top, which consists of tadpoles, bluegills, frogs, and turtles. We could use a rain though. It is getting a little low. Now, I dug the pond 16 feet deep about 10 years ago. It's probably about 12 to 14 feet deep now because you are going to have soil settled into it. And there may be a time where I need to have them come back in a backhoe and maybe just dig this portion out again deeper. We'll have to see. And then there's my raspberries and blackberries. So those will be producing here pretty quick. So the habitat looks really well. Anytime I do some trimming, the habitat here. So this allows things to live under the brush pile that otherwise predators would get to. So this is definitely, well, obviously allow mice, but salamanders, snakes, things like that, that if they didn't have the cover, they would just be hawk food. Well, about time to get the rest of the food up at the table. Get ready to put them on the plate. Eat a big breakfast. And then about an hour later, I'm going to do a lot of throwing. I'm going to throw here at the house. I did watch a video from 10 years ago of my son throwing. He's really good at it. And it kind of reminds me of maybe these are things I have to improve on. So what I will do is I will do probably about 10 minutes of just doing the spin with no disc. I may record that and put it on really fast speed. Should be humorous. And then I'll go ahead and do the regular practice. And like I said, I got this week. Yeah, I got the end of this week and next week. So I've got 1, 2, 3. I got about six or seven more practice days before I actually go and do the event. So what can you accomplish in 6 or 7 practices? About another 5 feet. I really think that's doable, and that's what I'm going to try to do. So there's the big old pin oak tree, which I do some chats underneath that. And also I'll be doing them at the pond too. But like I said, I'll be loading this up as a premiere. And I hope you do enjoy that. The last one I think I've got about 75 views, which is a little bit more acceptable than what I was getting. So hopefully that'll pick up. Then once I get consistent, maybe everybody will start looking forward to it. There's the throwing range, which I'll be spending a lot of time at. So let's now go back and check on the food. So I'm going to carry this into the house. Pretty sure this is done. And then let it rest a little bit. And it'll definitely be time to eat. Now there is potatoes and veggies. Looks like they cooked really well. And there I've got the steaks resting. And they're just about ready to get fed. I think I'm going to leave this here because that is so hot. Even with using these, I almost burnt my fingers. So we'll get these set up on the plate, get everything cut up, and it'll be time to be eating good in the neighborhood. All right, so now we got potatoes, jalapenos, green peppers, and onions in there. And the potatoes are both red and golden. Got the steak, Kool-Aid to drink, and the balance of nature, veggies and fruits. Although I'm definitely, as I always say, try to get as much as your nutrition from real food. Remember, those are supplements. They're not to replace, they are to add to. So Thank you everybody for joining in. I think I might actually do this at 8:30 Central Time, which will be 9:30 Eastern. Trying to find a good time that works for everybody. Hope that you all join in. And shout out to all the usual people that come out and watch my show, and I do appreciate it. You know, and make sure that you guys rest, nutrition, proper exercise, and go outside and enjoy yourself. Grilling, did this outside. I'll do some throwing after this and then probably a hike. So, MacBean Scottish Fitness, everybody have a wonderful day.